So many of you might be wondering kind of maybe why I'm here. I was actually introduced to the FWE by my mentor, Judy Brooks, who for the last 5 years has been mentoring me. And I've had quite a successful run of working with businesses. My topic today is growth. I want to essentially leave you with a formula and an accountability plan by the time you leave this workshop. Who am I? Top 40 Under 40 award winner. I've been doing 12 years of customer acquisition, offline, online. I looked over my last 10 years and I think I've sold about $57 million worth of product and services. I just joined the Standesk team. We just reached our $1 million revenue mark today. We started in May of this year. And I just recently joined the board of directors of Douglas College. Here's the growth over the last 10 years of the companies that I was the first employee to. Pareto Logic was $500,000 to $40 million in 3 years. Indochino was $500,000 to $10.5 million in 1.5 years. And Standesk, which is this year, is 0 to $1 million in just 6 months. So you guys are the pros, so you guys get the pro class. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was a question to you in terms of your current situation. Have you ever taken in a lot of valuable information and felt very overwhelmed and basically wanted to act on it but couldn't? Raise your hand. Aye. Okay. So basically, a portion of today, I want to be able to help you change that. So the way that we're going to start to change that is we're just going to talk about one skill that you already have, and that skill is called chunking. So who here remembers learning to drive the first car? Was it complicated? Was it scary? Yeah. Okay. Do you have to worry about multiple things at one time, 10 and 5, or is it 10 and 1 or 11 and 1? Yeah, automatic. Yeah, okay, yeah. You got a stick and you got your dad yelling at you. But now driving, what is it like? It's easy. Is it one task? Cognitively, does it feel like you could probably drive without thinking? And sometimes we do that, right? Sometimes we're driving and we don't know what's going on. Essentially, what your system's done is it's chunked that information. Because now cognitively, you know what's going on. From a physical perspective, you repeated that approach many times. And essentially, as businesses scale, what happens? Do they become complex or do they become simple? Simple or more complex? Complex. More complex, that's right. And so, here's what's happening in life. Essentially, you're running your business. Sorry to the camera folks. You're running your business and you've got this happening here, you've got this happening here, and all of a sudden you reach month 24, and this is what's happening, right? Now, what if I said to you, you can actually start to chunk that information? What if you're able to, say, take these little guys over here and say, hey, they're all connected to growing my sales? What if I was to take some of these tasks and say, you know what, this is related to my corporate culture, and perhaps if I increased or hired better people, I might be able to increase my corporate culture, which might be able to increase my sales. What if I was able to take this and say, I need to find a way to acquire more referrals, right? So essentially what we're doing is chunking. So does everybody follow what I'm saying? Say aye. Aye. Okay. So now you have, from 33 things, you've got 3 things. Is that more manageable? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to start chunking. Many people are going to tell you many things about the amount of tools that you have to grow your business. What I want to do today is provide you with 3 tools. Now, if I could say to you, hey, I can grow your business to 10 or 20%, is that good or bad? It's good. Okay. What if I could tell you and show you how to grow your business 33%? Who would be up for that? Say aye. What's that? I'm up for that. So we're going to chunk that right now, and if I can get my slide here. So let's start with first the 3 ways to grow your business. The first way to grow your business is to do what? Increase the number of customers. So in growing your business, if I asked you today to take one of the skills you learned from Judy Brooks' class on marketing and brand and apply those to your everyday business, who here could grow their business by 10% in 12 months?
12 months? I
In 12 months. Yeah. Raise your hand higher. Okay. And who are those that don't think they could do that in 12 months? Raise your hand. Okay. So what's the second way to grow your business? So you got the first way is to acquire more customers. The second is to increase the average. Come on, folks. Transaction value. That's right. So how do we increase the average transaction value? You can add more product, right? More quality to your product, and you have the ability to add multiple lines to your product. Now, as the experts, do you not believe that you have a product or service that provides value to your customers? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, if I told you to stop looking at your customers as customers, stop using that word, and start looking at them as clients, would there be a fundamental psychological shift for you? Okay, my definition of a customer is an individual that has a one-time transaction. That means at any given moment, that person is willing to go to Costco because there's a price change and leave you high and dry. Even though that they're part of the local community and they want to support the local community, their drivers for doing business are different. However, if you began to focus in on your customers as clients, what are you starting to do? You're starting to see them as, what's that? Building relationships, yeah. And we're all very good at that, right? That's what we do for a business because that's what we're doing here. We're growing businesses. So if we not only provided a valued product or service, but we provided educational marketing or marketing data that provided what? Maybe psychological reinforcement to that individual's process to increase their understanding of why they have that problem or why that they made that purchase, we should be able to increase the transaction value, yes or no?
Yes.
And finally, we want to be able to increase the what? Frequency of repurchase. That's right. So, given that you're all experts and you love your clients, you love your businesses, who here in the next 12 months, if they focus on applying 10% growth to getting their customers to repurchase maybe an extra 10%, would they be able to do that, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's just go over this one more time. So the first way to increase your business is get more. The second, clients. There we go. Yeah, I almost said customers. The second way is to increase the. That's right. And the third is to increase the. So what we're going to do today is I wanted to simplify things. Like I said, there's only 3 ways to grow a business. Those are your 3 ways. Now what I want you to leave here today is I want you to have a formula that you can use and apply on your business. Okay? And many of you are developing great relationships together. You're starting to meet new friends, new colleagues, maybe new potential business partners. And what I want you to do is I want you to hold yourselves accountable. In 2 weeks after this workshop, I want you to buddy up and I want you to phone your friend, your colleague, your peer, and I want you to see if you actually apply this to your business. Okay, so that's super key, the accountable part. So the first part here is we've got an average business, $200,000, right? We've got 1,000 customers. We've got the average order value at $100, and we've got the repurchase rate over a 12-month period of time to be 2. That equals about $200,000, right? Now, earlier I was asking you about the 10% piece. If you're able to add 10% of growth, which is possible, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. You would get $1,100 or 1,100 customers. Did we say that we could increase our average order value by 10% in a 12-month period of time if we did some kind of enhancement to our product, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And finally, is it possible, due to the fact that you have one-to-one relationships with your clients, it doesn't matter if it's a big corporation or the person coming off the street, do you think you could probably increase the amount of repurchase time over a 12-month period of time, yes or no? Raise your hand if you think you could get your customer to purchase more than 2 times, increase it by 10%, yes or no? Okay, raise your hand if you don't think you could do that. Okay, we'll talk during the Q&A. So what we get to is a what? 33.1% increase, right? So some of you are thinking, you know what, I already do that with my business, that's great. Some of you are thinking, this is great. Some of the people are thinking, I don't know how the hell you get there. So we'll work through that. Now, for the people who are really aggressive, the people that've got the $2 million business, the people that are, they're growing, what have you done to scale your business? Sandra.
Probably the wrong person to ask, because we've had a tremendous growth through the end of sort of 2008,
Yep.
2012, and now I'm looking for succession planning and trying to get out of it, so I'm not looking to continue.
But during that period of time, you would concur that the service offerings of that business grew exponentially. You went from one service to multiple services. So during that period of time of growth, that business basically said, hey, you know what? I'm already servicing my customer once, and I've gotten to develop a great relationship with them. So you know what? I figured out that they've got more problems. And because I'm an expert, because I'm good at what I do, I'm going to decide to apply for the next 12 months my abilities to help service them better. And that's an obvious statement, but many of us overlook it. So let's go aggressive. Let's get aggressive. Let's say we want to get to $500,000 mark. So how do I do that? Well, in this case, again, if you took any of the learnings from today, could you not, if you worked very hard, if you hired more salespeople, right? Now that you know the value of your customer, right? Now that you know the value of the customer, could you not find dollars in your cash flow to maybe hire a salesperson whose sole job is to focus on sales? Could you, yes or no? If I just showed you how to go from 200,000 to 266,000.
Yes.
Yes? So let's say you do that. Is it possible for you to actually increase your business over a 12-month period of time by 33%? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, if you looked at perhaps the average order value, we're all very price conscious, but if you're providing educational marketing, market data, information that's actually making the individual's life better, more wholesome from a psychological and from a practical perspective, do you not think that they would stick with you if you increased your product, your average order value, your price per customer?
Yeah.
Yes? I'm not getting a lot of yeses. There's no's or yeses?
Yes. Yes.
Yes? Raise your hand, please. Say aye. Who does not think that they could do that? Say, raise your hand. Yeah, okay. And no?
I'm a different pickle though. I'm nonprofit. I need donors.
That's right.
So, yeah.
The helicopters
I'm
and,
using a whole different words here.
right. Okay. Well, we can talk maybe at the Q&A about that as well. And then finally, who thinks that they spend enough time with their customers, one-to-one, that they can get them to purchase instead of 2 times, 3 times over a period of 12 months? Say aye.
Aye.
So that gets us to, how much is that?
50% increase.
That's right, and that's $500,000. So for those that want to play with the bigger company example, I've done the same math. Remember, it doesn't matter where your business is, the ratio is always the same, okay? You can add another 0, that could be 20 million, you can get to 50 million, right? And the formula is what? It's applying 10 by 10 by 10 to get to that 33.1%. So I think my time is almost up, is that correct? Yep. So what I want everyone to do right now is I want them to open up a page in their book, and I want you to apply this formula to your business right now. Okay? I'll go back here so you can see this example. I want you to list out over the last 12 months how many how many clients rather that you've had. And then I also want you to list out your average price point. Some of you might be dealing with contracts, some of you might be dealing with goods. And then finally, I want you to list out how many times that customer, or rather that client, purchases. Now, some of you are looking at me, maybe you don't have those numbers, and I'll be candid that that's a fundamental flaw, right, in terms of understanding your business matrix. The good news is that you can find those data pieces out, right? You might have somebody that's dealing with your books, you might be able to go back to you and say, hey, I need these 3 numbers ASAP, right? So again, we want to list down the number of clients that we had over a 12-month period of time, the average amount of dollars spent, and then how many times that person purchased over a 12-month period of time. So the formula again, I need you to have this formula. I want you to take it away. I want you to apply it if you can to your business, and I also want you to hold yourself accountable. In summary, apply the formula to your business. Try and increase your customer base by 10%. Try and increase your average order dollars per sale by 10%, and try and increase your repurchase frequency by at least 10%. you've got to plan for 4 quarters, and you've got to look at right now, which part of your business do you have to work on the most? If you don't know those numbers, if you don't know the average order value of the last 12 months, you need to get that data. That's the first step. The second step is seeing what can you do right now. Do you have a pigeonhole? Do you have an ad campaign out there right now that might be getting you 10x? And what if you were able to add another piece of educational content to that, either through paid performance marketing or through flyers to a specific neighborhood, right? When I was managing a college pro painting franchise, before I went into that area, I would blanket a postal code with flyers. And I would go in and I'd put my signs in a week before I went in advance. And I would go door to door and I would provide pictures of the work that I provided, and I would give the individual a little bit about me, a little taste of who I am, and also a bit of educational information about the paints that were being provided to their homes. You know, what's green versus what's not green, what's recyclable versus not recyclable. For the average homeowner, because I understood my client rather, I knew that that mattered, and that would make the difference between the cost and discounting. Now again, the key is to focus on a part of your business that you can start to scale with right now, and layer on these other pieces of the formula. So at the end of every quarter, should we not be going back and seeing, you know, did we increase our customer base by 10% over the last 4 months? Is that not doable? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Who's doing that currently right now? Yep, raise your hand. Okay. So for those of the people that are trying to improve their businesses and from a profit perspective, there are formulas out there that we can discuss that will help you focus more on maybe on the profit side of the business. Maybe the question isn't so much about, do I need more customers? Maybe it's about, how do I optimize my current business so I can become more profitable, so I can have more cash flow, so I don't have to worry about my business, so I can hire somebody that can specifically do those mail outs. And I can start getting outside of running my business and more thinking about my business. So the key, again, we're going back to the chunking principle. You're learning a lot right now over the next day. I really want you to take the stories you're hearing, and I need you to find a trigger. Okay, what story really resonated with you? Write that story down, and then write the action that you're going to take after you repeat that story to you when you go home tonight. Right? So whenever someone's talking about a story, please write that down. You need that trigger. Because like I said, there's a lot of things being thrown at you right now. We want to be able to chunk that information into usable, actionable data in the future.